What I think that really sets Georges Latour apart is the tradition and heritage. It's a wine that's been produced since 1936 that had that singular vision of the highest expression of Cabernet from the Rutherford appellation. The fruit that goes into the Georges Latour bottling comes from the original vineyards that Georges Latour first planted in the early 1900s.
Georges de Latour is the ultimate expression of Cabernets within the Beaulieu Vineyard portfolio. It's a wine that truly is site-driven and really allows Jeffrey to put his passion and artistic expression into the Cabernet.
Jeffrey's been with Beaulieu for over 25 years and just has a great passion for making world-class Cabernet.
It's not too hard for me to envision George and Andre looking down on what's going on right now. I think that seeing what we're doing now, they would both have this positive sense of things are going in the right direction.
The great thing about Georges de Latour Cabernet is that it stands for the great heritage and the legacy of Napa Valley. And having vineyards like they've had for 100 years, it really creates great wine. It's great to retaste Georges de Latour and reconnect to the classics of Napa Valley. And the classics are forever.
Georges de Latour was really a visionary. He came to California in the late 1800s looking for a place that would fulfill his vision of creating world-class quality wines. The wine was first produced in 1936. Over the years, with that kind of history and that vision about quality has been a legendary piece of the evolution within the Napa Valley. The term Beaulieu, which is the name of the winery, came from Georges de Latour's wife, who actually ran the winery after his death for many years. And when she first came upon the property, she exclaimed, "Quel Beaulieu," which means beautiful place in French. Andrei Tchelistcheff was hired in 1938 and was the winemaker on record for 1936 through 1972. My immediate predecessor started in 1982. I began my career here at Beaulieu in 1989. One of the great opportunities that I had here at Beaulieu was the chance to work with Andrei Tchelistcheff. He had such a thorough understanding of winemaking and a very humble appreciation for the winemaker's role in making great wines. Given 75 years of history of one wine, there have been that few winemakers. I think it points to a great consistency in interpretation.
We're in Rutherford Dust Country, so we're in Rutherford, California, where all the greatest Cabernet's made. BV1 has about 78 acres, and generally the back blocks are the ones that actually make Georges de Latour. BV2 is about 125 acres. The dominant varieties are Cabernet Sauvignon. We have a good clonal mix. We've got clone 4, clone 337. We have some clone 6 in there as well. Rutherford's really unique because we have great soils here. The climate's just perfect. We're sort of far enough up from the bay to get those cool evenings still, but we get nice warm temperatures during the day. That really helps drive world-class Cabernet. How do we know when to pick Cabernet for George? It comes down to great collaboration with Jeffrey. Jeffrey and getting out here in the vineyard, early mornings, tasting the grapes. But we also look at the numbers. The majority of the fruit for Georges Latour is picked by hand. They're picked through the night under lights and delivered into the winery first thing in the morning. So when we grow and farm the grapes for Georges Latour, we're actually, not sacrificing anything. We're trying to grow the best of the best. We're really trying to look for that something extra to take it to the next level. So we try and do everything throughout the season to take it there.
I look at a huge part of what I do to be influencing the quality of the grapes even before it gets here to the winery. And then It's creating a vision with all of the history that I have of the production of this wine, but being sensitive to what the vintage has to offer. One of the things that has really changed or improved, I guess, with the whole concept of blending the Georges Latour has been the participation of Michel Rolland. To me, he really brings to this wine is an ability to see a number of individual wines and be able to conceive them as a single blend. The ability that we have in the new facility is to be able to keep individual lots separate. I like to do that for as long as possible. I'd like to see them as independent, separate lots into the spring following the vintage. I tend to want to barrel ferment highly tannic, either clones or varieties. So our Clone 6 Cabernet gets a very high percent fermented in barrel, and so does Petit Verdot. We do a wide range of maceration techniques, and depending on the fruit and the fermentation vessel it is. The idea is to get as much complexity as possible to start working with. It really does give me a huge sense of pride. There are many hands that touch that wine in its production, but ultimately, you know, I kind of guide the style and direction of it. You know, to get that kind of response and know that people are going to be enjoying some of life's, you know, most celebratory moments with that wine it's a really good feeling.